Hello, my friends. Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa Stringworks Workshop. And yeah, there was no intro and everything else. We're lucky to get what we got. Wow, I tell you what, I don't see how one computer can get so messed up from the other. You know, here I am in the man cave and I've got a different computer up here. And golly, it's just unbelievable how it can get so messed up. And I have no idea because I don't even use this computer. And yet none of the videos were there, none of the intros. All the stuff was just completely gone off this computer. I can't find it anywhere. I have no idea how that happened. But we're here, and I think we're live. I've got a few things lined up for you, but quite frankly, it's been so doggone cold, I haven't done a lot. Now, I think it was Friday and Saturday, I did go and finish up the Grapple Bucket. So the Grapple Bucket's finished, and I just didn't feel like going down there in -3-degree weather to film it. So it's just is what it is. You'll see it later, and you will see a full video on how I repaired it and put it back together and all that. Man, it's crazy cold. We haven't been as cold as some of the surrounding areas this time, which is kind of weird because I think our lowest said about -3. And let me look and see what it is presently. Right now we're at a 2. We're at 2 degrees, 2.1 in fact. So we're climbing, climbing rapidly. Yeah, it's just crazy. And, you know, I wouldn't mind it being negative numbers for a day, but when it stays negative numbers or, you know, right around 0 for many days in a row, the ground freezes so hard that it can freeze deep enough to mess up the water lines and things. And so far that hasn't happened, thank God, but I'm worried about that. And we looks like we've got another several days of this coming, so I'm a little concerned. Thank goodness I've got firewood, and I am having to load the furnace with about 2 wheelbarrows full of wood every 6 hours. Now that's how you burn a cord of wood every 3 days. I mean, 2 wheelbarrows full every 6 hours. Now, doesn't that add up to a cord of wood? It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable amount of wood that we're burning right now. The house is toasty warm, but you pay for it in firewood. And that's why everybody else that owned this place went broke here, because they didn't do the wood thing. They did the propane thing. And it bit them in the rear end. Looks like we got quite a few people on here this morning already. We got 91 viewers. I hope you're good where you are. If you've had any weather-related problems, please put them in the comments and we'll look at that. I've got a couple little things to share with you here, and you're going to have to bear with me. I don't know if any of this is working well today, because, like I said, it's just I can't even explain how many problems I've had getting this ready for this morning. I mean, I could have gone down to the shop and done it. I mean, the shop's like 50 degrees, but it's cold between here and there. And it would take quite a bit to raise the temperature in the shop when it's this cold. So I didn't see any point in wasting electric down there. Anyway, I'm real proud of my daughter, Richelle. She's the one that lives out in Ohio. She has the 2 younger grandsons, Trinian and Layton. And Richelle has remodeled a room above her garage. They just built a great big new house, and she likes to do a lot of the work herself. Now, she had the house built, don't get me wrong, and the house was completely built and finished by a contractor. But they left the basement unfinished, and they left the room above the garage unfinished. So the room above the garage was, in effect, just a raw attic. And Richelle turned it into this. And she did this all by herself. I think you can still hear me. I'm watching my microphone, and unfortunately I couldn't get the picture to work in here today and let you see these other pictures. I don't know why. That's just the way it worked out. So you don't see me, but hopefully you can hear me talking. The picture on the left is the full attic above the garage, as you can see. It's a real large room. and she built everything you see. I mean, it was just raw studs. And my daughter, pretty much by herself, except for the floor, she had help with the floor. With her husband helped her on the floor. But other than that, and don't get me wrong, she can do the floor by herself. She has done floors like that, but this is a very big floor. And so she did have help with her husband, helped her on the floor. But everything else, Richelle did all by herself. She made the book shelves and the cutout there that you see where the TV is. And that cutout is also a closet. She built a closet there. And this is the boys' rec room is what it amounts to. It's for Leighton and Trinian to have a game room. And that's what this is just a large game room. But I thought she did a great job. She remodeled the basement in her previous house totally by herself too. And it was a knockout. It was beautiful. It really was. I'm pretty impressed that she could do all that herself. I don't know where she learned it from. Uncle Don, whether this is going to work. Actually, it isn't going to work because I didn't have time to get the picture in there. So this is just going to be a blank screen, I'm pretty sure. I'll see if I can get a picture up while it's playing, but I don't know if that's going to work. But anyway, I've got two songs here. This first one I think Don wrote. It's Your Letters Overdue, Little Darlin'. Now, if you don't know, Don was my uncle. His name was Don Brown, and he had the Ozark Mountain Trio. And they recorded these songs back in the 60s, maybe 70s, maybe even 50s on some of them. On these two, I think these were 60s, 70s time frame. So this first one's Your Letters Overdue is what it's called. Here you go. Your letters overdue, little darling, and so is the love you promised me. And if you don't answer my letters, my darling, I'm gonna set you free. You promised, my dear, you would write me and send me your love each day. I waited so long for your letter, and I miss you each hour you've been away. Your letter's overdue, little darling, and so is the love you promised me. And if you don't answer my letter, my darling, I'm gonna set you free. I keep waiting each day for your letter, but each time the postman goes by, and each time he brings me no letter, it leaves me so lonesome I could cry. Your letter's overdue, little darling, and so is the love you promised me. And if you don't answer my letter, my darling, I'm gonna set you free. Your letter's overdue, little darling, and so is the love you promised me. And if you don't answer my letter, my darling, I'm gonna set you free. Well, I don't know how that was at the beginning. I think my microphone was still on, and normally I don't have to mess with that, but the way this thing's all screwed up, I should have muted the microphone right away. I did mute it later. Hopefully it was coming out okay and you didn't hear a reverb or echo. I'll play you this next one. Now this next one has a little short story in that it's called The Dirt That You Throw. And I believe this was also written by the great Damon Black, the songwriter. And Damon Black was from down around Flat River, Missouri, or Farmington, down that way. And he was a famous songwriter. He wrote a lot of songs, and a lot of famous people did his songs, like George and Tammy Wynette. And he wrote Tall Pines, I think, and gave that to Don to do. And I think he wrote this song for Don also, The Dirt That You Throw. So I'm going to mute my microphone and then play it for you here.
There should be flowers all around me, but when I look around, not one can I see. If it only takes her to let flowers grow, then there should be cocaine in the dirt that you throw. I gave them the rain that falls from my bed, but there's not one petal, not even a trace. And I can't understand why flowers won't grow when there should be cocaine in the dirt that you throw. Orchids and valleys, roses entwined, beautiful gardens all should be mine, but misery and sorrow is all that you know when there should be cocaine in the dirt that you throw. I can remember rain that falls from my bed, but there's not one petal, not even a trace. And I can't understand why flowers won't grow when there should be cocaine in the dirt that you throw.
Well, that was Don Brown and the Ozark Mountain Trio. That and the picture there that you saw, or I hope you saw, because I put it up during the song, was Don Brown, Norman Ford, and the Ozark Mountain Trio. Norman Ford was one of the original members of the Ozark Mountain Trio that was formed with Don Brown, Norman Ford, and you know me in names. It's terrible, isn't it? You know I know his name, John Hartford. There you go. I draw blanks. I don't know what that is about me and names. It just has been that way my whole life. Can't help it, and there ain't nothing I can do about it. Let's go to the comments and see what's going on there. 115 viewers at the moment. Rod Wintler was the first one there from Berkeley, California, and then Matt Tommen, Bill Roach. Hope you're staying warm, especially JR, Sue's Animals. I have been praying for you guys. Well, thank you, because, man, I'll tell you what, it is freezing cold out there. It is crazy cold. And just so you know, in our animals, the dogs that stay outside here, we have them locked up in the garage, and we do have a heater in the garage. It's not house warm out there, but it's nowhere near freezing either. It's well above freezing in the garage, and the dogs are used to it. There's not a problem for them at all. In fact, they can't wait for you to open the door. They go out in the freezing cold and just run around. They just love it. It doesn't bother them in the least. Bruce Hines, good morning, Jerry. Hope you have a great day, my friend. Thank you. Donald Matthews. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up about itchy boots because I was actually planning to mention that this morning, and yet again I forgot it. I've been planning to mention that for the last 2 weeks, actually. Yeah, if you haven't been watching Itchy Boots lately, man, I'm telling you what, and if you don't know who Itchy Boots is, first of all, let me just explain. She's a YouTuber. She rides her motorcycle through different countries around the world. Well, presently, she's on the continent of Africa, and she's riding through all those different countries. And, she rode through South America, and some of the roads in South America, I thought, man, those are horrible roads. I don't see how in the world she can do it. And just about the time you think the roads can't get any worse, she rides through Cameroon. Oh, my gosh. The very worst road here, the very worst trail on my farm is 10 times better than their decent roads in Cameroon. Those are horrible. I mean, and you think, well, those are just got to be trails. She's just riding trails. Those aren't the main roads. And then she'll go a little ways and you'll see a great big delivery truck off the side of the road turned over. And you know that it's her main road, It's unbelievable. Just unbelievable. And so if you haven't been watching her, you need to go back and especially catch up about 4 or 5 videos ago and catch up to now because it's unbelievable, the stuff she's got herself into. And she drops the motorcycle all the time because the trails are just slick mud and they're just deep ruts, and she's riding through 2-foot deep mud holes, and it's a mess. Golly, I've never seen anything like it. You'd have to hold a gun to my head to make me go through what she's going through, and she's doing it because she wants to. Well, she's doing it to make a living on YouTube is really what she's doing, but oh my gosh. Anyway, yeah, Jackie Farmer says, I'm ready for spring. Matt Tomlin, Clyde Price, let's see. Okay, they're talking back and forth, just trying to find a few things. Massachusetts, C. Wilczek says it's 14 degrees. If it was 14 degrees here, I'd be real happy. 14 degrees is very cold, don't get me wrong. But it's just, you're still, even at 14 degrees, you're 18 degrees below freezing? So it's really cold. And, when we're -3, that's 35 degrees below freezing. And so that's bad. And, our pond that hardly ever freezes. I mean, keep in mind, it's spring fed and there's water running into it. Now, right now, the spring's about as low as it's ever been because we've had such a drought this year. But it still is froze over pretty good. And I would say in one more day, it'd be walkable. It's been froze over for the last 4 or 5 days, and it takes a long time for that pond to freeze thick enough to walk on. But I'd say in another day, it'd probably be deep enough to skate on. Anyway, not that I plan to go skating. Carolyn Fike, hi everyone. Laid up with a sprained ankle. Oh, no, that ain't no good. I've had those a lot in my life. Yeah, I told you I have like little girl wrists, little tiny wrists for a man, especially with hands as big as mine. And my ankles are about the same way. I sprain them all the time. And I'll tell you what, a sprained ankle, a really bad sprained ankle, the ones that turn black and blue, and I've had that a bunch of times where they absolutely turn black and blue from the sprain. Those are worse than a broken bone, really. I mean, you can't walk on it at all. Let's see. Moving on down. Let's see. After we went live, Matt Tomlin, he was there 18 degrees C, it looks like. So that's, I don't know where that's at. Well, I don't know what he's saying there. I can't really tell. Moving on down. Let's see. Anybody got any questions or comments? Ron Fleece says it's -4 in Nebraska. Don't doubt that at all. Rob Reynolds says -6 in Omaha. And when we were our -3, we checked Juneau, Alaska, and I think it was like, I don't know, I think it was in the low 30s or upper 20s. I'm thinking, man, I'm moving north. I got it, it's crazy. It's just nuts. Matt Thomas says, we need more likes. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah, some people commenting about snow. Bill Mumbo. Yeah, everyone remember to do a thumbs up. Appreciate it. Wavy Gravy. It was so cold in Wisconsin once that we couldn't talk outside. We had to bring the words inside and thaw them out first. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that either, man. As cold as it is here, I know it's nothing like it is up, in Canada, Wisconsin, Minnesota, those kinds of places. But it's cold considering how far south we are. I mean, negative numbers is cold now. Ronald Todd, just watched the video of the neck reset on your Uncle Don's mandolin, and wouldn't you know, they use hide glue. Yeah, I saw McClanahan do that. I watched it myself finally. I got around to it, and he did a real nice job. Basically, it's almost exactly how I would have done it. Now, just for the record, for the history of that mandolin, I just want everybody to know when I repaired it, all I did was take the back off and put the back on. That was it. There was nothing else. As far as I could tell, there was nothing else wrong at that time. Now, you have to understand, I did that before I should have done that. You know what I'm saying? It was before I was good enough to do that kind of work on that kind of a valuable mandolin. But I did a pretty good job, and Don was real happy with it, and he played it the rest of his life, and he was tickled with it. Because prior to that, he had sent it back to Gibson 3 different times, and all 3 times, all they did was daub a bunch of hide glue down in the crack that had broken, and it would just hold for a month, and it would break again, And I said, and so when I told Don I was going to have to take the back off of it, I mean, he jumped right in my face, and he says, "Take the back off of Lloyd Lohr mandolin? Are you nuts?" And I said, well, I can just daub glue in there just like they've been doing, and it'll hold about a week or 2, and then it'll break again. If that's what you want, that's what I'll do. So anyway, I took it all apart, cleaned all the joints, and you notice the back didn't come back off of it. But the neck block itself was broken, and broken pretty badly, and you could see it had a previous repair. It had a dowel in it and some things, and I can tell you for sure I didn't do any of that. I didn't get that far into it. I only took the back off and only put the back on. That was all I did. Just for the record, for the history of the mandolin, in case anybody says different, that's all I did. Anyway, moving on. But I did think McClanahan did a real nice job, for the record also. And I told him that. I put a comment on his video that I thought he did a great job, and Uncle Don was saying thank you from heaven. So, there you go. Papa Tom says it's -4, Wisconsin, wind chill -35. I don't know what the wind chill is here, but I'll tell you, it only happens when it gets cold. Like these kinds of outlier problems only seem to happen when under the worst circumstances. I'm sitting here in my easy chair watching my big 85-inch screen. It was 10 o'clock at night. I think it was Friday night, and it was freezing cold. The winds were howling out there. I mean, it was some of the strongest winds. And all at once, I heard these double doors right here jolt. I heard them bounce like this, and I thought, what the heck is that? And I mean, they bounced hard. So I opened the doors, walked out, and it was freezing. We don't heat that part of the house. That outside this room here, on the front of the old log cabin here, we don't heat that. It's a pretty big area. It's a game room area. It's got a big pool table, and I don't know, it's probably 50 feet long across there and about 20 feet wide, and so it's huge. And we don't heat any of that. And what had happened, but the front door, but you go through there, and then there's an entry foyer, and there's a double wide front door. And both doors had blown completely open. I mean, completely open. And the wind was howling like crazy. And it was so cold in that room. I mean, it's already cool in there because we don't heat it. But it was so cold because of those double doors open. I'm seriously telling you, it about froze me to death just getting the door shut. It was bad, man. And those kinds of things only seem to happen under the worst conditions. Now, why would those doors pop open like that? They've never done that before. We've been living here, 25 years or more. Actually, yeah, about 25 years. A little over that now. Let me moving on down here. Let's see. Trying to see. Chipwood says, do you think redbud would make good bridge? Yes, I do think redbud would work. It's a good tight grain hardwood. I'll tell you what, I think it would even work better would be dogwood. Dogwood's really hard, really fine grain. I would try dogwood if you can get it, and you probably can because it's around. Dogwood would be excellent. I know it would. And the reason I know that for sure, I shouldn't say I know it for sure because I've never done it. But the reason I suspect it would make a good one is that it's so hard that the old pioneers, the old farmers, all that used dogwood for wedges. They didn't have steel handy and they needed to split other wood and things like that, and they would make dogwood wedges and then drive those into the other boards and split them open. And dogwood's really hard. It would make an excellent thing like a bridge, or it should make an excellent. Of course, you'd have to dry it and all that, just like normal. Moving on down. Marigold says, greetings from Sweden, and then I see her talking her native tongue to Christia again. And then moving on down, let's see. Theron Corbett says, just for the record, I have zero natural musical ability. Join the club. I am amazed at the technical abilities of people and their chosen instruments. Yeah, it amazes me. And I'm a musician, I guess you'd say. But on the other hand, when I watch these people that really know how to play, like my buddies down there in Springfield, which I can't think of their names right now, starts with a C. It's so terrible. Anyway, you know who I'm talking about. And they are so good and so talented. I can't even get in the ballpark with those guys. I mean, yeah, I can play music with them and all that. But when you get right down to it's kind of like Jeopardy. You're sitting on your chair, you can kind of answer this question or that question, and you think you're doing pretty good. But if you were on there with those brainiacs that are on there that are answering just about every question, you'd be blown out of the water. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way it is with this music thing. I mean, I'm pretty good on a mandolin. I'm pretty good, playing and singing and that sort of thing. Pretty good. But compared to those guys, I don't even hold a candle. It's just amazing how good they are. Let's see. Moving on down. Bob, he says, plus 5 degrees C would be 41 F here in Newfoundland, Canada. Wow, you hear that warm up there? I'm moving up there. Yeah, it's crazy cold right now. But like I said, around the area, I've seen other people reporting temperatures colder than the -3 that we're having here. And typically, we're 5 or 10 degrees colder than everybody else. But we're not right now. We're just really cold. I mean, when you're talking 2 or 3 degrees difference, it ain't much different, really, in a place like this. David Ravel says, if you're too cold, please come visit us in Israel. We have moderate weather. Well, yeah, except that there's a lot of turmoil going on around right now. Us people, I mean, being there would be different, than what we see on the news. And you know how the news is. It's so screwed up you can't know what to believe. But, yeah. But, no, I think Israel would be a beautiful place to come visit. I would love to. When you see John Dyke Grabber, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. When you get older, one gets bloody cold all the time. Yeah, that's true. Let's see. Dottie Hildebrand, Jerry could make a person who has no musical talent and teach them to play any instrument. Well, yeah, you know, I have taught a lot of people. I think I'm a decent teacher. I'm a decent instructor. You know, if you think about it, you know, I went to night school for 18 years, and you know, the old thing was that, and even some of the instructors would tell you this, that most college professors are dropouts in the business world. They couldn't hack it in the business world, so they teach. You know, and you know, a lot of them say those kinds of things. And that's kind of the way I am. I can't really hack it on the professional scale on the music level, but I can teach. Matt Tommins leaving. Everybody, okay, well, good luck to you. Moving on down. 62 in Ruskin, Florida. Well, yeah, rub it in, why don't you? What can I do? Very small hairline cracks on a 40-year-old Martin. Well, that's kind of an open question there, and I don't know what I would tell you to do because I'd almost have to see it. Now, when you say hairline cracks, a lot of times they're just in the finish, and there's a lot of finish cracks, and they don't amount to really anything, and you probably shouldn't do anything about them. But if you're talking cracks that are actually in the wood, that's a different story, and it's still hard for me to tell you what I would do. I'd really have to almost see it, to be honest. It's just too much of an open book to just say do this or do that. Let's see. Christia Thomason, don't forget to put question marks in front of your comment. Yeah, that's really good idea, guys. It's hard for me to find them, and I'm a terrible reader as it goes. So unless I can, you know, find the question marks, it's hard for me to hit them all. Don Felipe Rosa, thanks for your help. Can't express how much I've learned watching your videos. Well, thank you. And there's Marigold talking her native tongue again. I saw earlier that a lot of people made comments about Richelle's room, and I didn't see those as I was going down through here this time. But I thought Richelle did a really nice job on her remodel there. I thought she deserved to show you that, and I thought she deserved to get a little credit there because she did really good. I mean, you know, that's hard work, you know. If you've never done that kind of work, it's pretty hard work. And just for one girl to do that by herself, pretty much, and pretty much all by herself. And she had my drywall hanger, and so she hung the drywall and everything herself, pretty much, and did everything all by herself. I think she might have had help with the electrical. I can't remember if I think she called in an electrician because I think she had to do that or something. But other than that, I think she did everything. How is the new pup doing? She's doing really good. Sadie's doing good. I haven't spent much time with her over the last several days at all, just letting her out. You know, while I'm filling the wood furnace, I let her out and play with her a little bit as I'm filling the wood furnace, and that's about it. That's the only exposure she's getting right now. You know, I would like to do more, but man, it's just crazy stupid cold out there, and it just ain't worth it right now. So there's not going to be a lot accomplished over the next several days here unless it warms up some. You know, if it gets back up in the upper 20s, you know, or whatever, I'll be back out there. But these teens and you know, below, or it's just too cold. And anyway, guys, that looks like that's going to probably be it for today. 162 viewers right now. We've been at it 34 minutes, so I think I'm going to let that be it. I don't have an outro video to show you, so I'm just going to have to say goodbye.